You know, it's so funny that you say playing the part of a delusional made-up princess. I am a delusional made-up princess.
They won't let me call myself Her Royal Highness anymore.
Tomorrow night, a big swathe of the world media will be showing you the highlights of a brand new episode of South Park, which goes to air middle of the day tomorrow in the US.
It's so quiet and empty here. If we moved here, then people would think we're really serious about wanting to be normal. It does seem perfect, doesn't it?
I want to discuss South Park, and it's the episode everyone's talking about. It went to air overnight in the US. It was an absolute roasting.
Your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Just when everyone thought the chaos in South Park had finally settled, oh, how wrong we all were. Behind those studio doors, whispers are spilling out like wildfire. And trust me, they're painting a picture way darker, way juicier than anyone expected. The world may have moved on, but inside that animation madhouse, the drama is just getting started. People close to the studio say the tension is electric, and if even half these rumors are true, then buckle up, because South Park is about to drop one of its most savage episodes in history.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
So, do you have any regrets yourself?
Of course. Don't we all? Probably my main regret is, the way that everyone else has acted. That's the thing that's most regrettable, in my opinion.
My question is for Meghan. Meghan, besides holder of briefcase 24 on Deal or No Deal, what do you think your most impactful role was?
And then people kept wanting to get a picture, because I'm on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So, a lot of people coming up to us.
And it gets better. Apparently, the ending of this new episode was so ruthless, so unapologetically brutal, that even the test viewers were left sitting in dead silence. Imagine a screening room full of people. No laughter, no chatter, just wide eyes and dropped jaws. That's the kind of silence that doesn't just happen. That's the kind of silence that screams, "What the hell did I just watch?" And the insiders? They say even the crew wasn't sure whether to laugh, cry, or brace for the lawsuits that might come crashing down after this airs.
Did you do much beyond Rachel from Suits?
Well, besides Rachel from Suits, I also played Meghan.
Leaked whispers claim that one of the latest drafts of the finale was so ruthless, executives actually debated pulling it entirely. Think about that. Network brass, who've seen it all, were apparently shaken. The satire, savage, the digs, aimed straight at big names. The jokes, so raw that insiders said careers could literally crumble if this thing makes it to air. The finale has been described as unfiltered, reckless, and maybe even self-destructive, but also brilliant. Supporters of the show are bracing themselves like they're preparing for a storm. So, what's in that final scene? And why are people in the know whispering that South Park might be about to break its own legacy wide open? Let's dive into what's been circulating.
Our viewers are hoping for another installment poking fun at them, citing the Delivery Ward twerking video posted by the Duchess earlier this month as perfect reference material for creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
We want privacy! We want privacy!
On social media site X, fans made a call back to respect our privacy line in response to reposts of Meghan's twerking.
Picture this. A junior storyboard artist, hiding behind an anonymous Discord handle, drops the first bombshell. They claim the very first table read of this revised finale sparked audible gasps. Trey Parker himself, according to rumors, stood up mid-read, tossed his script dramatically onto the table, and delivered a line that's now echoing around fan forums. We end on the truth, or we don't end at all. Can you imagine the chills in that room? Within minutes, word is, a legal rep stormed in with a fat folder labeled Royal Contingencies. But Parker and Stone weren't backing down. Allegedly, they slammed the creative control clause on the table, practically daring the network to interfere. People who were there said the room was buzzing with tension that rivaled even the infamous Tom Cruise episode. Some attendees swore the air was so thick with nerves, you could cut it with a knife. But then, Parker delivered a savage one-liner about a trademark jam venture, and suddenly, the room erupted in laughter. Classic South Park, cutting tension with humor sharp enough to slice steel. And that final gag? Rumors say it lands in the last 3 seconds of the episode with a thunder crack so jaw-dropping, PR teams are literally losing sleep. Insiders even claim the network's legal team tried to sneak in a stealth edit, but the creators yanked it right back out within 6 hours. 6 hours. That's how committed they are to keeping the satire raw, uncut, and and unflinching. Hours after that explosive table read, the studio hallways were buzzing like a hornet's nest. People couldn't stop whispering about this one sequence. Apparently a scene so over the top, so charged, that it pushes South Park's satire to its absolute limit. A lighting tech, who clearly couldn't resist spilling the tea on Reddit, described rumors of a hospital set being stormed by a wild animated character wielding a neon pink megaphone. Can you imagine that visual? Absolute chaos. And it doesn't stop there. Insiders claim the writers spliced in rapid-fire flashbacks mocking infamous interview moments. One shot allegedly shows someone bragging in a kitchen, Jam brand logo flashing across the screen. Another cuts to staffers running for the exits under a massive glowing NDA sign like they're sprinting from disaster. And here's where it gets even juicier. Supposed Slack leaks suggest Trey Parker himself refused to cut these bits, even when lawyers raised eyebrows. He reportedly said, "Real satire has to quote the source material." Savage, right? The writers didn't just poke the bear. They practically poked it with a stick wrapped in barbed wire. Critics outside the studio caught wind too. Body language analysts started dissecting leaked clips, calling them inauthentic, and radio hosts trashed the early drafts as fake. But you know what the South Park writers did? They doubled down. They allegedly animated characters whose lips glitch into these robotic smiles while extras chant authenticity like they're part of some creepy cult. Pure mockery, pure South Park. Then comes the kicker, because of course there's always a kicker. A character tries to intervene in the chaos, only to get smashed flat by a cart loaded with unsold jam jars. And get this, sound engineers supposedly used real glass-shattering audio to hammer home the metaphor. Executives called it harsh. Parker, he joked it was fact-checked by Instagram stats. Absolutely ruthless. And with each tweak, sources say the episode just gets colder, meaner, and less sympathetic. The big question swirling in every hallway: would the network step in and force mercy edits, or would Parker and Stone's vision survive completely intact? Tuesday's alleged closed-door screening only cranked the tension up. Interns and friends of the studio were invited in, thinking it'd be business as usual. Instead, absolute detonation. Word spread instantly. The third act flips a simple "tell the truth" refrain into a full-blown courtroom spoof. Imagine townspeople suing for emotional distress from endless rebrands. And then, the mock judge, slamming a gavel, cuts to a massive jumbotron replaying a certain viral clip. The room gasped first, then howled with laughter. As if that wasn't enough, an animated tennis star storms in, rolls her eyes, and delivers a dismissive one-liner that's already being whispered as iconic. Allegedly, it's parody to dodge lawsuits. But the lines mirror real quotes so closely, lawyers were reportedly sweating bullets. The savagery didn't stop there. Right after, the episode supposedly flashes a streaming logo stamped with one-season wonder, while a dramatic legal drama riff plays in the background. Ouch. That's a direct slap at failed projects, half-baked ventures, and quick crashes. From there, it spirals into a montage mocking podcasts, jam launches, even those entrepreneurial hustles dropped casually in interviews. One intern claimed the producers used real laugh tracks from actual podcasts as canned studio laughter. That's meta on another level. Borderline humiliating. Focus group reaction? South Park brass allegedly cheered when pacing scored a jaw-dropping 94%. But two cards from that same group had the kind of comments that freeze a room. Tone feels meaner than usual. Borderline uncomfortable. Now, no formal legal complaints yet, but insiders whisper the lawyers are watching closely after a sly book title reference was supposedly shouted before the climax. One executive reportedly called it "the dagger nobody will forget." And here's the twist. If that line survives final edits, it could either crown this episode as franchise legend or trigger the ugliest backlash since that notorious TV interview saga. And just when you think it can't possibly get nastier, boom, the whispers say South Park drops a full-blown musical number. Yes, a Broadway-style roast in the middle of all this chaos. According to those who claim to have seen contested storyboards, the segment opens with an animated character belting out a show tune while waving shredded contracts like victory flags. Lawyers in a jury box, splattered with glittery jam jars raining down from the rafters. It's savage, it's theatrical, and it's reportedly one of the most mocking sequences the creators have ever dared to animate. Unverified lyrics floating around online supposedly riff on infamous interview confessions about being hands-on, and the chorus allegedly goes, "Hands on on the pen. Sign here again, imagine it. Every high note triggering another explosion of confetti and jars raining like candy, coating the scene in sticky satire. And oh, it gets worse for the targets. Sources whisper that Parker and Stone have been binge-watching body language analyst channels, lifting viral screen captures, and stitching them straight into the sequence as rapid-fire reaction shots. The meta joke? No NDA can silence a meme once it's sung on cable television. The cruelty is almost poetic. Momentum only builds when a parody interviewer storms in with cue cards trying to pivot to purpose. But the animated counterpart allegedly shoves them aside with a brutal clapback. I pivoted yesterday. Ouch! And to twist the knife even deeper, rumors claim the character then blinks 5 times in a row, perfectly mimicking that viral clip critics obsessed over. Insiders say test viewers who caught this in the animatic screenings laughed so hard some choked on their popcorn. But commentary from royal correspondents hit social media instantly, with one labeling the scene narcissistic karaoke. What makes it wilder? Whispers suggest this critique was animated back into the episode in less than 10 days, making it the fastest turnaround gag in South Park history. Imagine shading someone that fast. Executives reportedly laughed along, but they circled one part nervously. A shot of an animated spouse checking his phone backstage, muttering about canceled investor calls. Observers claim it's a dig at real-world business struggles, especially when the scene ends with a giant red stamp slamming down across the screen. Sold out again! Brutal, cold, and unapologetic. One legal consultant allegedly warned the satire was too inside baseball, but the writers clapped back, reminding them that the story has been inside baseball ever since that viral clip turned the narrative upside down. It's their way of saying, if you don't get the reference, maybe you weren't supposed to, and we're still not done. The next rumored act? Oh honey, it allegedly goes even harder. Imagine a faux documentary sequence, grainy filters, dramatic narration, the whole 9 yards. 2 freelance artists on encrypted forums spilled that the bit features a frantic character discovering pink journals piled outside palace gates, each embossed with the phrase "Tell the truth" in gold lettering. Opening one diary allegedly reveals a string of absurd entries, hourly logs of midnight memos, floral demands, and even a chilling 3 a.m. directive that simply reads, "Beige everything." A sticky note flutters out with the reminder, "Tribute post by 3 p.m." If you followed the online breakdowns of those lukewarm social posts, you know exactly what this is mocking. It's too on the nose to be coincidence. And then, rumors claim a hologram tennis champion floats above the scene, repeating quotes about lies not lasting. With one savage swing of the racket, the hologram smacks the journals skyward like tennis balls. As they scatter, the hologram glitches and declares, "Truth can't hide forever." Insiders say this single line had lawyers rereading contracts at dawn. But wait, South Park being South Park, they push it further. On one of those diaries, the writers allegedly inserted a QR code. Test viewers scanning it on their phones reportedly landed on a loop of an interviewer clip smiling blankly with comic speech bubbles saying, "Great question. Petty? Absolutely. Hilarious? Without a doubt. Risky? 100%. Executives allegedly called emergency meetings the next morning. And if that wasn't enough, one of the most savage visuals might just be this. A jam jar rolling slowly across the screen, oozing over the diaries while a robotic voice chirps, "Spreading thin. Achieved." The jar's label allegedly morphs from a famous branded name to "rebrand soon" before dissolving into a puddle. Out of that puddle, 2 tiny animated children supposedly rise, waving price tags. It's a vicious jab at merchandising accusations. The scene allegedly darkens, thunder cracks, and a character yells, "Not the kids!" before static cuts the screen. Test viewers reportedly gasped so hard it rattled the room, and insiders whisper, "If you thought that was savage, oh, you haven't seen anything yet, because apparently what comes next makes that meltdown look tame."